Hey, 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 hey. It's Foreskin. All right, so this is part 3 of PvP Battleground Tempest Tactics. We've been going over some gems. We've been going over some set greens in the previous videos. And we've also been talking way too much. So let's keep it short and sweet this time, huh? Let's get better at this streaming shit. I mean, SHIT shit. All right. Okay. So, as you've seen in the previous videos, it's been all defeats for me this morning, right? With the current stats not being too bad, I've changed absolutely nothing about this build. Nothing. The damage is good. The life is good. It's not that. So you see how these 5-star gems are actually not helping me at all? I'm still dying because of the matchmaking throwing me into these whale matches. So what do I do when I nonstop get defeated, right? I think I've won 1 out of like 5 matches. If you've seen my previous videos, that's okay. Don't get mad at defeats. MM is sometimes just throwing you into these whale matches. So let's not waste more time. Let's go into what changes you can do in order to start becoming impactful when matchmaking is pissed at you, basically. Rezo's 2877. That's going to go down here soon with these changes that I'll show you right now. Stats will remain the same. Greens will remain the same. The only thing that I'm going to change is some of these gems and some of this gear. Okay, I hoard a lot of gear, and I'll show you why. You gotta adapt. If you take anything from this video, you have to adapt. If you're not adapting to what the matchmaking is throwing at you, you will just keep on losing. But you should, once you lose 3 times, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you're not adapting and you're not changing, you are literally insane. You might just be insane like me, but let's not be the dictionary definition of insanity. And let's make some changes, shall we? What do we got going here? What do? I add bleeds. The bleeds allow me to be away from that 1v1 that is obviously killing me. By me dying, it's obviously not helping my team, especially when I'm attacking. So what do? I add bleeds. Let's go ahead and add some bleeds. So let's start with the essences, right? As Tempest, you have a few choices of bleeds. You have the Blade Dance bleeds. You have the Squall that resets on bleeds. And one that I'm pretty sure makes and creates bleeds. I don't use Squall. So we're going to go with what I do use. It is called Howling Anchor. It makes your Hurricane Hitch Essence, which allows you to shoot the Crosswind skill, a bleed. Crosswinds also causes enemies to bleed for 5 seconds. I am already using Ripper Jaws, right? But since I am going to be away from who I want to kill, stop it, notifications. Since I'm going to be away from... See, what I'm trying to do is not be in the fight. You can say what you want, that I'm not stepping on the idol, I'm not walking the idol. But there's also protecting the idol. Protecting the idol doesn't necessarily mean you're on it. If I'm too squishy to be on it, then you need to adapt so that you can get your kills or just help away from the idol. Since I am adding this bleed to my Crosswinds, I am losing the original 19% from Seafarer Trows, right? That's a huge boost, especially when they're bleeding and then you flow strike, you're adding 20% to those ticks for 3 seconds. That's a huge, and if they're critting, you're adding 20% to that crit. And if I crit, let's say 100K, right? If one tick crits at 100K, which I do to some people, you're adding 19,000 to that crit. So if that's critting, because my crits, I usually crit, if they're ticking 10 seconds, this is just for the easy math. If they're if my crit is 100K, right? And they're critting for 10 seconds, that's 1 million in crits. I don't crit the full 10 seconds. My combination of things that I use allow me to crit 7 to 8 ticks out of the 10. And I'll show you that in the dummy here in a second. So what we're gonna do is you gotta use this training grounds. You have to go to the training grounds. You have to go and test things out right before the BG. I know we only have 10 minutes left in this block of BG 2 hours, but it's plenty of time to get at least one match in and show you the difference, right? Sometimes lowering your damage, lowering your life by losing some of these 5-star gem training wheels, you will be more impactful, and I'll show you. So now we've added, right? We've taken off the 19% damage. That doesn't mean that I lost it. Always, if you remove something, always try to figure out a way, whether it's reforges, whether it's an essence in a different part of the gear, whether it's head, offhand, main hand. Try to recover it. Don't just say, okay, I lost it. No. Try to figure out where you can recover what you just lost. How am I recovering that 19%? By taking off this bleed from I added a bleed, so I'm gonna add more bleeds here later on. I'll show you. So instead of having 2 bleeds, right, from Howling Anchor and from Ripper Jaws, since I took away that damage, I'm gonna go ahead and add some damage to my Zephyrs by applying the Maruzi spine, whatever, to my Zevs, adding 28.5% damage. So, took away the damage, added it back, right? From the pants, I took it away and added a bleed. So the offhand, I took away the bleed and I added the damage. Now that should cancel out. It should work. It should just work. Let's just make sure that we have everything in order. Cool. All right, now let's go on to the gems. So Plane Clasp, I don't want to lose, but you know what? Let's see. Seeping Bile, I want to keep that bleed. Let's add a little more damage with the bleeds by not oxing the Vipers, right? Let's spread the bleeds a little bit more by oxing Igneous Scorn, which is a rank 1, so you definitely want to ox that. Let's the BSJ is helping me, right? But it's helping me to exit. The movement speed helps you to enter and to exit quite quickly. But since I'm not going to be staying in the battle, I will not need to exit as fast. I'm going to be keeping this is why tactics is so important. I'm going to be keeping my distance for the whole fight. So I can lose this, right? But before I lose it, let's see if I can lose something else that, because the speed is a huge boost. So Roiling Consequence, that 12%, that's good. But let's face it, it doesn't seem to be helping me too much. And I have enough crit chance from the Harbinger tree, which that will be another video. So let's go ahead and lose this Roiling to keep, because remember, the BSJ is not just giving you speed, it's also giving you an 8% on top of the 8% from Pain Claps. So I want to try to keep this, not at all costs, but as much as I can. The crit chance, it's great, and the dot from this is great, but it is only 3 seconds. So it doesn't hurt me too much to lose it. I'd rather buff the ones that last 6 seconds, increasing the damage with BSJ and Pain Clasp, and focusing on just optimizing and making what is lasting longer and hitting harder to be even deadlier. So we're going to go ahead and remove this, right? And we're going to add a Everlasting Torment, which is a bleed. So see how I removed Roiling Consequence? That is a 3-second dot with a 12% chance. This has no 12% chance, but it is a 6-second dot. So I just doubled the duration of my dots, being extended by facings 30%, which that will be another 2 seconds, but with the BG nerfing things, it's a little bit different, but just for the sake of explanation, because I don't have time, I gotta hop in that queue, we're just gonna go ahead and leave it like that. So I added a bleed gem right there. Now, what we can do is, you know what? I am just going to lose this BSJ, right? And it's an awakened slot, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this rank 10 everlasting. Now we're gonna do this very quickly because I am running out of time. No, we don't want to aux. We want to leave that there. We want to add the resonance really quickly here just to get a couple more points in and unlock some extra primary damage. And now we're gonna socket the non-rank 5 gem at the bottom, which will be the Vipers at full blast. The Starfire works good, but you know what? We're going to add back this Roiling Consequence instead of the Starfire because I feel like to do more damage, again, focus on the bleeds and on the damage. So these are the changes that we've made, right? Let's see how we do. It should work. Let's see how we do here. Again, if you are getting defeated, don't just go, oh, MM is bullshit. MM will always be bullshit. What are you doing to work around, to adapt to what the MM is throwing at you? That's really what you should be asking instead of just blaming the MM. Change something. Don't be afraid to change something. You're gonna get defeated anyways. MM is bullshit, right? You're gonna get defeated anyways. So you might as well make some changes and get defeated, but think about it like me. So this is my mentality on defeats. If I'm getting nonstop defeats, then it's just one of those fucking days, right? It's just one of those days. How about we turn defeats into lessons? Turn defeats into learning, into testing. You're gonna get defeated anyways, right? Because MM is bullshit, right? So why not learn something from it? That's just my mentality. You take it, leave it, whatever you want to do with that advice. But there's, you know, I don't want to get too corny with the quotes, but there's a really famous quote from Benjamin Franklin, the goon himself, the goat of the light bulb, Benjamin Frank. Somebody asked him, they said, hey, because he failed like thousands of times before he actually got the light bulb. And somebody asked him I don't know if it was an interview, I think it was a newspaper. They asked him, hey, how did you maintain positivity by failing so many times, you know? And his answer is really, I live by it. His answer was, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I learned 1,000 ways how to not make a light bulb. And this is the mentality that in the example I'm giving you, this stupid corny little quote, but it is very, very useful as far as like mentality for BGs goes. You don't take it as defeat. Take it as learn something from it. Take it as what not to do, right? At least for this block of 2 hours, MM is giving me these well matches, this team of people that sometimes aren't sure what to do and they don't do things in a certain time or in a certain order, or they don't use the tactics that I'm trying to push and to teach and spread. That is very, very, very impactful, and they just work, man. I mean, you'll see right now what I mean. Or not, maybe I'll just fucking die again. But these changes that I made should work. I've done this plenty of times to be confident enough that it will work. But notice how I changed my tactics here. I'm no longer going to jump head in, you know, and also look at the damage and life difference, you know. I went from 24,000 damage, I went down 4K. I went from 310,000 life to 284, making me extremely squishy. I have no protection gems. I have no gladiator. This is why. Oops. Oh, so glad that we got that in. All right, so So I am dumb as fuck. I've been using Vanquisher Tree this entire time. That's probably the main reason for the losses and why I haven't been getting these kills. Wow. I have no words, man. Oh, I'll happily die, man. I'm too busy fucking. Oh boy. All right. Well, these changes should work anyways. You know, you just kind of want to tap them, get the fuck out of there. You really don't want to stay now. You really just want to leave. I should be getting a kill here in a couple seconds. Again, time is their enemy as far as bleeds go, you know? Not every time, but you just see me tap a few. Like I'm gonna do the little thing and a little slingshot thing here. And it should work. As soon as you see that blue circle pop, that's the wolf gem, which by the way is super OP. Highly recommended. Swipe that credit card, get your gem. It's very great. It's awesome. So now I definitely don't want to stay. So I just want to tap him and go. But look at this damage though. Even though I lowered my damage, look, you see him running? He's gonna die. I'm just gonna follow him so you can see and drop a Zeph. And let's just stare at him. Let's just stare at him fucking... Okay, this guy wants it first. Okay, so look at this guy die, right? You see my Zeph just going off on him? Okay. So this is what I mean by tactical. You gotta know your character. You gotta know it so well that, see right now, I'm holding this. I might die, but I just let this idol walk. Look how far it's gotten just might be doing that one thing. Once people feel the bleeds, they will either avoid you or they will chase you because they know that you are causing the idol to walk against their favor. So again, these changes that I made were probably not necessary because I just had the wrong skill tree. But I'm glad that it happened. Like Bob Ross would say, it was a happy little accident. And let me just show you like the power of these bleeds. I can just tap them and just go. I just go, you know. They're gonna chase me, sure, but that's less time that they're on the idol. Now that left idol is moving. You see that left idol? Look at the map on the top right. They're moving. So that's what you want to do. You want to make your death count. You know, I know I sound like a broken record, but you want to make your death count as much as possible. See, that guy should have healed on the idol. He shouldn't have gotten off the idol. Die on this idol, even if it's just for a quick second. Always, always, always die on the idol. If you're bleeding, go to the idol and bleed on the idol and die on it. So if the left lane is not working for you, switch lanes. Don't stay in the lane that's like constantly killing you, right? You want to just kind of switch lanes. If you're alone in the idol and you see a bunch of red dots coming like now, just change lanes. Like you don't have to, you don't just stand there and lose. Like definitely you want to, you know, you want to go where the idol's available. You want to kind of switch back and forth. And again, time is their enemy. So now I'm cooling, so I'll go ahead and cool. But I'm gonna cool while helping the other idol. Don't ever be an idol. Don't ever be idle. Help the idol. That should be a shirt, right? Don't be idle. Help the idol. So stay on the idol, just like I'm doing now. If there's somebody else on it that's trying to heal because they just got off of a 1v1, you want to substitute what they were doing and let them heal on your idol, and you kind of want to trade off on and off like that. So there's a bar there. I'm very squishy. I cannot stay there. But that idol's walking regardless, so let me go help this idol just by spreading some bleeds. That Igneous Scorn is going to spread the bleed, so all I got to do is tap one person, and they will get critted because of my roiling and the mothers. This is why I put the roiling back, because the higher the crit chance, the higher times, the higher amount of stacks of my Igneous Scorn proccing, spreading to nearby enemies. And again, the idol is a very small space. It will spread. And it's probably still spreading. This is the reason why we're walking so fast. You see these few little changes, how the mechanics, how the game mechanics, understanding game mechanics help you. Crowd control. Crowd control doesn't mean stuns. Crowd control does not mean tanking. Crowd control can be as simple as changing a few gems so that they spread. Use the idle range, right? The amount of space that the idol recognizes you on, use that to your advantage. It's a huge advantage because it's a cage. As long as they're not in the cage, they're not walking, which is good for you. If they're in the cage, they're gonna spread your bleeds, which is good for you. Again, I am in a point of view of bleeds, while these people are talking about lamps. Yeah. See, now I lost my train of thought because I do love lamp. Fuck. Well, let's win this here. I'll shut up for a little bit, give you guys a break on my voice. But just, if you take anything from this video, is use this space right here. Use that space to your advantage. Make sure you're spreading those bleeds. Set up, set up. I am on the phone, by the way. I only play on the phone. So for Tempest, I think it's the best. The computer, I mean, I've tried it on the computer, but honestly, it's got me doing gang signs trying to play Tempest on the computer. So I'm just not gonna do that. So this guy should die right here. Okay, well he's, you know. So there we go. So by making just a few quick changes, it can get you that victory. I'm glad I lost the other three. I'm glad that I had the wrong three on so that I could show you how easy it is to just make a skill paragon tree change, add some bleeds, even though I lowered my life 40,000 and my damage by almost 5,000. I didn't do too bad. Remember, kills and deaths have no meaning in BG. Control of the idol is all that matters. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. I'll go over some other things, but I'll upload that, you know, throughout the week here, the upcoming week. But this is where I'm gonna cut it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me on this new journey of me talking your ear off. Hopefully I'll get better with it. No, I won't. But I hope you can tolerate me and my ADHD and just grab the information that helps you, apply the information that I'm trying to give you as far as tactics go. And I promise you, no matter what your build is, if you just apply some of these tactics as a Tempest, like the slingshot thing, this is all with the build, of course. If you're using my surf build, these 2 or 3 little things that I mentioned, which is, let's go over them real quick. The slingshot, right? The slingshot move where you kind of hit them and you move backwards, which requires movement speed. Don't forget that. The second thing is always die on the idol. I know a lot of people are bleeders now. I know that you're bleeding all the time. Don't lie. You're fucking bleeding. Bleed on the idol. Die on the idol. Okay? If you're going to heal on the idol. Unless you see, always got to watch the map. If people are coming, don't be dumb. Go heal somewhere else. But if there's nobody there, don't be afraid to heal on the idol because it's helping your team. And then the third and last thing is probably check your tree and check your essences. But that's a side thing. The real third thing would be just, you know, make a few changes. If you're getting defeated, if you're losing, make some changes. Don't be afraid to make some changes and test it out. Because at the end of the day, you're losing anyways, right? Might as well lose and learn something. And that's just good advice from the GOAT, the goon, the legend himself, Benjamin Franklin. So figure out what doesn't work in BG in order to figure out what does. All right, so I'll say my goodbyes. I hope this helps you. If it does, please subscribe and like. Again, it helps the algorithm spread my annoying fucking voice to all of you. All right, guys, love you.